Hey Star Wars fans, welcome to a journey through the galaxy far, far away like you've never seen before. In this video, we'll be diving into some of the most fascinating, obscure, and intricate parts of Star Wars lore that are far beyond the surface-level facts you might be familiar with. We're going to explore deep cuts from the expanded universe, deep philosophical discussions, and some downright strange occurrences in the galaxy. Get ready for a deep dive into Star Wars history, the Force, ancient orders, bizarre alien species, and so much more. Grab your lightsabers and make sure you're lying comfortably because we're about to venture into some of the most hidden secrets of the Star Wars universe. The Prime Jedi and the First Light Side Order. The Jedi are a group we often associate with peacekeepers, but their origin is far deeper and more complex than that. Before the Jedi existed as we know them, there was a figure known as the Prime Jedi, who is often considered the first Jedi in the history of the galaxy. The Prime Jedi is a mythical figure believed to have lived millennia before the establishment of the Jedi Order. According to the Journal of the Whills, the Prime Jedi discovered the first balance between the light and dark sides of the Force and founded a philosophy centered on the harmony of the Force, rather than the rigid light side versus dark side dichotomy. Early Jedi were not entirely focused on suppressing emotions, but instead were peaceful Force users who sought to understand the Force's true nature. This belief system was centered around meditation, exploration, and living in harmony with the living Force. Kyber crystals, which became integral to the Jedi lightsaber, were not initially associated with the Jedi Order. The Force-imbued crystals were part of a group known as the Order of the Kyber, a precursor to the Jedi, who believed the crystals were living organisms, capable of forming a symbiotic relationship with their wielder. The ancient Sith species and the Sith Empire. The Sith we know today are not the original Sith. The term Sith was once used to describe an ancient species of red-skinned humanoids who existed on the planet Korriban, now known as Moraband, and were powerful Force users. The Sith species were naturally attuned to the dark side of the Force. Over thousands of years, they built a mighty empire and constantly warred with the Jedi, but the Sith were much more brutal and often enslaved others to build their empire. Their mastery over dark side alchemy allowed them to extend their lives and manipulate the Force in unnatural ways, including resurrecting the dead. The Sith species' greatest leader, King Adus, once ruled over the galaxy's greatest Sith empire before eventually falling to the Jedi. Afterward, the Sith Empire collapsed, and the Sith Order evolved from a species-based empire into a philosophical order focused on Sith teachings. This transformation eventually led to the establishment of the Rule of Two, a doctrine created by Darth Bane. The Rule of Two states that there must always be one Sith Lord the Master and one Sith Apprentice, ensuring that the Sith would never again be wiped out by infighting and internal wars. The Whills and the Cosmic Force. The Force as we know it is a mysterious energy field, but its deeper origins have ties to a group known as the Whills. The Whills are an ancient and mysterious species or Force entities who are said to have willed the universe into existence. The idea of the Whills is explored more deeply in Star Wars legends and the early drafts of Star Wars. The Whills were responsible for the creation of the Force as a cosmic power and played a major role in guiding the galaxy through its eons of history. The Whills are described as Force-connected beings who live outside of space and time and are tied to the cosmic Force, a higher dimension of existence. In this cosmology, they are the true originators of the Force, and everything that happens in the galaxy is part of a cosmic plan they have set in motion. In the original Star Wars scripts, Lucas envisioned a deeper connection to these entities, with the Force itself being a philosophical and spiritual concept directly controlled by the Whills. This aspect of the Force was later integrated into certain expanded materials, such as the Journal of the Whills, which provided a more metaphysical view of the Force. Darth Plagueis and his mastery over life and death. Darth Plagueis, a Sith Lord featured in the novel Darth Plagueis by James Luceno, is one of the most tragic and compelling figures in the Star Wars universe. His obsession with immortality and his understanding of the dark side of the Force led to his downfall, but there's much more to his story than just his untimely death at the hands of his apprentice, Darth Sidious. Darth Plagueis, also known as Plagueis the Wise, was a Muun from the planet Lothal and one of the most brilliant Sith Lords in galactic history. He became obsessed with mastering the dark side in order to control the ultimate fate of life and death itself. He was so powerful that he discovered how to manipulate midichlorians, the microscopic organisms within every living being that connect them to the Force to create life and prevent death. Through his study of the Force, Plagueis learned how to keep people alive indefinitely, but he made a tragic mistake. He failed to understand that immortality was something the Force itself would not allow. His obsession with eternal life led him to make unethical choices, such as creating clones and performing dark rituals, which ultimately led to his downfall. Plagueis' death, at the hands of his own apprentice Sidious, was one of the most poetic moments in Sith history. Plagueis died thinking he had mastered death, but he was betrayed in his sleep, emphasizing that no one can truly control the will of the Force, no matter how powerful they become. The Lost Jedi and the creation of the Dark Jedi. Before the Sith and Jedi became mortal enemies, there were beings called the Dark Jedi, who were former Jedi that fell to the dark side but were not part of the Sith Order. In ancient history, after a Force-sensitive group of Jedi grew disillusioned with the Jedi Council's teachings, they broke away and started practicing their own philosophy that ultimately led them down the path to the dark side. These Jedi became known as the Dark Jedi, and their ideology was a precursor to the Sith Order. The Dark Jedi exile led them to a distant galaxy, where they eventually encountered the Rakatan Empire, the precursor to the Sith Empire, forming their own Dark Jedi-led empire. These exiled Jedi weren't Sith in name, but they operated similarly, believing that using the Force to dominate and control others was justified by their higher knowledge. The Dark Jedi played an important role in the Great Hyperspace War, which occurred around years before A New Hope. Their defeat in this war helped set the stage for the formation of the Jedi-Sith conflict we see in later Star Wars media. The Bendu, the Force's middle path. The Bendu is a mysterious Force entity introduced in Star Wars Rebels, who exists as the embodiment of balance in the Force, but the concept of the Bendu goes much deeper. The Bendu was not a Jedi, nor was he a Sith, but an ancient, powerful being who resides in the middle way between the light and dark sides of the Force. He believes that true balance doesn't mean favoring one side, but embracing both, understanding their strengths and weaknesses. The Bendu has immense power, capable of influencing the physical world and even creating weather or controlling the Force storms. However, the Bendu has an aloof and mystical philosophy and often challenges those who come to him for help to look beyond binary thinking. The Bendu's teachings suggest that the Force is not meant to be used for domination, but rather in balance. His role in Rebels is significant as he plays a key part in Ezra Bridger's journey. By helping Ezra understand the full spectrum of the Force, the Bendu teaches that mastery comes not from following dogma, but from understanding the greater unified nature of existence itself. How the Force creates life in the Star Wars universe. One of the most interesting and often overlooked aspects of the Force is its role in creating life and shaping the galaxy's destiny. This extends beyond just the midichlorians. The Force itself has the ability to shape the galaxy, and some believe that life was directly created by the Force. The Celestials, ancient godlike beings, were responsible for shaping much of the galaxy's fate, including creating the core worlds and manipulating the flow of the Force. This cosmic connection to life creation is explored in greater detail through the backstories of the Yuuzhan Vong, an extragalactic species who were immune to the Force, a concept that threatened to disrupt the galaxy's very balance. Their presence in the galaxy suggested that life itself could exist outside the influence of the Force, challenging Jedi beliefs and highlighting just how central the Force is to the universe's very existence. We've journeyed through some of the deepest corners of Star Wars lore today, from the earliest Jedi and Sith to the ancient and mysterious entities that shape the Force itself. We've uncovered stories that go far beyond the films and dived into tales of balance, betrayal, and cosmic destiny. The Star Wars universe is vast and ever-expanding, and there's always something new to discover. If you enjoyed this deep dive into some of the lesser-known aspects of Star Wars, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment below with your favorite deep lore fact. Until next time, goodbye, old friend.